Meow and welcome to Panthi Plays Behind the Scenes. I'm Nighty, the Black Panther kitty, and this is a test of the various microphones that I have because I've bought a new pair of microphones and I want to see how they actually hold up regarding sound quality. So first of all, let's turn off all the post-processing that I've set up in DaVinci Resolve, and so you can hear the actual sound that the microphone records. 3, 2, 1. There we are. So now you're hearing me as the microphone records me. I actually turned on a little fan in the background, so you might hear a little hum. I'm not sure I will hear that also after I recorded all of this. Okay, so this is, as I said, the microphone that I normally use for my recordings, although it is now set up behind the keyboard, which I use if I have to play a game which uses a lot of keyboard, or I use that when I'm talking to my coworkers while working, because then since I'm programming, I'm mostly using the keyboard. So one thing we can try is we can switch over and kind of replace or swap a microphone and keyboard, because that's what I do when I only use WASD, for example, for Morrowind, or for Albion, where I only use the arrow keys and do the rest with the mouse. And then I can have the microphone right in front of me, which makes the recording a bit louder, and thus the noise suppression has an easier job later. Right now, as I said, right now it is turned off. But let's swap microphone and keyboard and see what changes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now I've swapped keyboard and microphone, and in the recording software I do see a difference. The waveform that it displays to me is bigger. This means that the obvious has happened. My voice is louder now. I don't know if the quality has improved because it is closer, and also if the fan, which is in the background, it's in the far corner of the room, is quieter. We will see about that, as I said, and I guess I will return 2,000 times in this recording. Post-processing is currently off. DaVinci's Dialog Leveler and noise suppression, the new automatic functions with DaVinci 18, DaVinci Resolve 18 should actually take care of that automatically. I have another microphone which is set up permanently, which is built into the webcam, and I'm going to use this next. 3, 2, 1. So this is the sound of the webcam. I already see in the waveform that there is a lot of background noise. There might be some static, but it might also be the fan. The webcam is a bit closer to the fan, so that is one reason, but it could also be that simply the quality of the microphone is worse. I don't think I'll be using the microphone at all. I just wanted to have it in as a comparison. So the next microphone will be my Bose Quiet Comfort headset, which I used for a while. I mostly use it for being on the telephone with people, being on my cell phone with people, but I also normally use it in headphone mode, not headphone, headphone mode, which disables the microphone and increases the sound quality for listening to stuff. When I actually do the Let's Plays. So I actually have the noise cancelling headphones on and I'm playing a game, but now I'm going to use the microphone, which I think has bad sound quality because it's using Bluetooth compared to other microphones. So let's see. 3, 2, 1. So here we are with the Bose headphone microphone. I think this one has noise suppression built in, which I cannot disable. So I'm curious about the sound quality. The waveform does look a bit weird. It seems like it actually amplifies, well, not just amplifies, it seems like it does some compression, not in the sense of digital data compression and data loss, but in the sense of volume compression. But I'm not really sure about that. We will have to see what the sound quality says when listening to this. Well, the next microphone that I'm going to use is the one which is built into the laptop, which should have the worst, I expect it to have the worst sound quality. So let's try that one. 3, 2, 1. So this is the microphone built into the computer, and again, I already see it on the waveform that when I don't speak, there is stuff being picked up. So there is noise in the background. We will see what this noise is, if it's just the fan that I turned on in the background, or if it is actual static from bad quality, or if it sounds actually emanating from inside the computer, because of course the computer's fan is running also, which, while not that loud, now is rather close to the microphone. We will see. The next two microphones which I'm going to use, I'm going to connect to the same headphone jack, because these are microphones that can connect via a 3.5mm headphone jack. So I'm going to connect it to the headphone input of my laptop. And we will see what this is. The first one is a Logitech gaming headset, which does have a USB-based USB to headphone and headphone jacks adapter, so it has two, an input and an output. I'm not going to use this so to compare the two, but in theory I could check if this basically USB sound card has a better sound quality. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to compare the two sound cards as well for those two, or actually three microphones that use a headphone jack. So first of all, the Logitech headset, which is a rather old one, so this does not speak for any recent Logitech headset you can buy, but still, let's see how the microphone of this one performs in 3, 2, 1. So this is the Logitech headset connected to the headphone jack. Yeah, it's a speaker headphone jack basically, but I switched it to microphone in and also selected the highest recording quality from the Realtek Soundcard settings, just to not lose anything there. So we will see how this holds up. I actually expect the low sounds, the bass, to be very low and the high sounds to be rather high, because that's how I always perceived that sound when I listened to it in comparison to other microphones. But it's enough to talk to someone while playing a game, so I think that's okay. But yeah, let's see how it holds up. Next, I will be using I don't know how to pronounce this word in English. In German it's lavalier, so I guess it's lavalier, I don't know. So it's a microphone with a little clip that you can clip on your clothing, and I'm going to clip it at my chest, which is where you're supposed to clip this, and then see how this will sound in. And I've never tried that microphone before, so this is also new to me. So let's hear how this sounds in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is the Rode clip microphone. The waveform is pretty loud here. It also picks up a background noise. So this is a stereo microphone, but I do know for a fact that the input on the PC is only a mono input. So sadly, I only get one of the two channels. Doesn't matter much because I'm just narrating while I play a game. I don't have sound that moves from left to right, so I don't care much about the stereo quality of the phone, of the microphone right now. But it would be neat if I had a device that can record stereo sound. So this means I might have to actually buy an expensive recording device, because I think all the computers that I have only have mono microphone inputs, which is a bit sad. But yeah, that's this one. And now the new one that I actually bought anew, which is a wireless clip microphone by Comica, the Comica C3, which is pretty awesome. I know I'm not sponsored, but I'm kind of hyped by this because you just clip it to yourself. You just clip the receiver to something, and then you connect it via a headphone jack. It's meant to connect to your camera. But yeah, since I don't have a camera with an input, the camera that I use is a photo camera, and I think I could also just record sound on that one for comparison. But let's switch over to the Comica phone. To the Comica microphone. to see how this sounds. 3, 2, 1. So this is the Comica microphone. I do hear lots of noise in the background because and the waveform is very, very loud. This is because it is very sensitive, and it's currently clipped to the color of my t-shirt, which is where most people clip it. And it's also set to the highest volume setting, so I might have to turn down the volume, but it does not seem like it's actually clipping. The volume meter doesn't go to the 0, but it goes very close. So I might, let me just turn down its volume a little bit by 1 notch to see if that makes it more passable. In 3, 2, 1. So now the microphone is set to volume 3 of 4. I just turned it down 1. This is done at the receiver's end, so I guess the receiver has a little amplifier and you select how strongly it should amplify. I'm actually going to, even though it sounds boring to you, I'm going to test all the volume settings because I'm interested in how this will influence the sound quality when I turn on the Dialog Leveler, which automatically changes the volume to a more consistent volume. So I'm going to turn the Dialog Leveler on now. So this is now again with post-processing because I'm just curious to compare the sections with the Dialog Leveler on and off. So next I'm going to turn off the Dialog Leveler and I'm going to switch to volume level 2. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is volume level 2 without any post-processing. The audio graph now looks way better to me. I don't know what the actual sound will be like, but it does not hit, it doesn't go into the red. So I'm going to turn on the Dialog Leveler, the automatic volume system for speaking. I'm going to turn that on now. So again, this is with the Dialog Leveler, and yes, I did notice that I did not do this for the volume level 4. I'm just going to do this later after I recorded volume level 1, and I'm going to turn off Dialog Leveler, of course, with changing the volume again. So I'm going to switch volume in 3, 2, 1. And this is the lowest setting for the volume of the Comica microphone without the Dialog Leveler, and I'm going to turn the Dialog Leveler on now. And this is the lowest setting with the Dialog Leveler, just for comparison. I'm going to turn up the volume to highest and leave the Dialog Leveler on. I know this is a bit messed up and all over the place, but basically you do have the chapters in the YouTube video, so you can also compare things. So let's see how it performs with highest recording volume and then Dialog Leveler enabled in 3, 2, 1. So again, this is the highest volume setting but with Dialog Leveler enabled. I am curious how this will sound, if there's any clipping or if this is okay. This microphone also supports a special mode where it records 2 different volume levels at the same time, but this only works if you have a stereo input, because it will record 1 level on the left channel and 1 level on the right channel. And it also has a stereo mode, so this is a stereo microphone, but as I already said, the stereo function sadly doesn't work. And now for the exact same experiments with all the 3 jack microphones, but not with the built-in microphone jack, but with the USB adapter that was that came with the Logitech headset, because maybe this sound card is better or worse. And I mean, I want to have optimal sound quality, so I'm going to check that out too. So next will be the Logitech headset with its sound card, with its bundled USB sound card. Let's see how this performs in 3, 2, 1. And here we are with the gaming headset connected to its bundled USB sound card, basically. So let's see how this sounds. But honestly, I'm more curious about the other two microphones, so I'm going to switch to the clip microphone, the Rode one, right next in 3, 2, 1. And here is the Rode clip microphone connected to the headset Soundcard. This one does not have any volume settings, and it actually looks like it would be clipping, which sounds like a pun because it's a clip microphone, but obviously this means that it's louder than the maximum recording volume, and I don't, as I said, I don't have any settings on the sound card itself and on the microphone, so I hope this is not much of a problem. But still, next I'm going to switch to the wireless clip microphone, and I'm curious how this performs, and I'm going to switch to the lowest setting and go from the lowest to the highest setting this time, and we'll also be turning on Dialog Leveler in between. So let's see how this performs in 3, 2, 1. And here's the Comica microphone on the lowest volume setting. With Dialog Leveler off, it has similar properties to the Rode microphone right now. When I look at the graph, but of course the details you can only hear, you don't see them. So I'm curious about that. Yeah, now I'm going to turn the Dialog Leveler on. So this is what it sounds like with the Dialog Leveler turned on. It's with the automatic volume post-processing done by DaVinci Resolve. So I'm curious what this entails. Also, I'm going to turn up the volume on the microphone by 1 notch, so from volume 1 to volume 2 in 3, 2, 1. So this now is recorded without the Dialog Leveler and with volume setting 2. I can see in the graph again that this is way louder, and it might actually be already clipping. I'm not sure. Well, we will hear that later. But let me turn on the Dialog Leveler, and now we see what it sounds like with dialog leveling turned on. So with the automatic, basically it's an automatic compression, AI-based or cloud-based, basically, which you get when you have the DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is the paid version. Okay, now I'm going to turn up the volume 1 notch again to level 3 or 4, and we're going to see what happens. 3, 2, 1. And here we are at volume level 3. Wow, this sounds very high. But also it does not look like it's actually clipping. It looks like, to be honest, it looks like the sound card is doing compression. So it's like it has a limiter in place. This is pretty interesting to me because there is a maximum volume that I hit, but it's not the one where I'm clipping. I still see changes in the volume, even at the highest volume where it's at, which should be something at -5 dBA. So 0 dBA basically means you're clipping. So yeah, I'm curious, actually really curious about how this sounds. And now with the Dialog Leveler on, it sounds like this. And of course, I'm also curious how this will sound with the highest setting. So of course, highest setting first without the Dialog Leveler in 3, 2, 1. And this is the highest volume setting. And again, no clipping, but it looks like the volume is constantly at the highest, and still I have a waveform. That is weird. I'm curious what the Dialog Leveler makes out of this. So I'm turning the Dialog Leveler on. And here's the audio with automatic dialog leveling. And I'm really, really curious what sounds the best. Of course, the versions with dialog leveling are the ones most interesting to me, because this is how I'm going to publish the recordings. But for now, just from the waveform, it does look like the Comica microphone actually does. The Comica and Rode microphones perform similar, and the Comica microphone does perform best, mainly because it's wireless.
actually. So yeah, it looks awesome, and I'm curious. So first of all, just to wrap it up, let me switch back to the microphone that you used to and turn on all the post-processing again. So wrap up without me knowing yet. So wrap up without me knowing the results yet in 3, 2, 1.
Yes, here I am again with the sound that you should know and grown to, well, love or hate, I don't know. This is the Yotto. This is a big studio microphone, actually. I think I'm going to add visuals of the microphones, else this video is going to be super boring. But it will be interesting, mostly for people who are nerds anyway, because, yeah, it's just a comparison of different microphones. So we'll see. I'm curious. The reason why I bought these new Comica microphones is because I want to do some video while I'm not sitting in front of a PC and while I'm maybe even a bit further away from the camera, which means that the built-in microphone of the camera, which I have not recorded because I'm not talking about the webcam, I'm talking about a photo camera, which also has video capabilities, that is, that microphone will not pick me up. Sadly, that camera does not have a audio input, which means I need to record the audio from the wireless microphones separately. And if I need to buy a recording device, I could just also use the Yotto microphone and put the recording device into my pocket. But it might be that I actually replace the whole Yotto, the whole cable-bound Yotto setup with the Comica microphones, because the box contains 2 of them, and each of them has it says each of them has 8 hours of recording capacity, and with the box, if you have one microphone with the box, you have 24 hours. So I guess it's like 8 hours each plus 12 hours each, because the power, of course, would be shared. But still, if everything is fully charged, that's 16 plus 12 hours, which is 28 hours of recording capacity, which sounds pretty awesome. And also the recharging, it's like the AirPods. You put them into a little case, and as soon as you do that, they recharge, which is pretty awesome. And they're also come in a neat small box. So yes, as you notice, I'm pretty hyped by them. So yeah, I'm now going to cut all this together and listen to the actual results and see what the audio quality of each of the microphone is, and what this tells me about what setup to use in the future. That was Panthi Plays behind the scenes. I hope you gained some interesting insights, and I hope you weren't bored. But anyway, see you next time on Panthi Plays. Bye bye.